Elephant Man. Love that.
Go on then, do a film review, quickly.
Right, well today on, film review, we're doing, classic films, and today we're looking at, Elephant Man, John Merrick, one of his better pieces of work. It's a sad film. I've never really been able to watch it all the way through.
Sorry, John Merrick's better piece of work was him being the Elephant Man, played by John Hurt.
Yeah.
Go on then.
Sad film. When I was younger.
Tell us a bit about it. What is it about? Who's John Merrick?
It's about a fella who's got a funny head.
Right, tell us this.
And, you know, he lives in, I think he lives in London, in like about the 1930s or something like that. And he's being picked on all the time and stuff. And, first time you watch it, you'll probably cry a bit. And then the second time you watch it, you're just sort of thinking, God, that would be bad. Sort of having a head like that being picked on all the time. Then the third time you watch it, you might think, you know, oh, how does he get his jumper on? Then, dunno, probably bored of it the fourth time. but it's well worth watching, so, Elephant Man,
brilliant.
Yeah, see it.
Brilliant.
I think if you want to get on TV, Carl, you'd be better as the subject of maybe like an omnibus documentary. Living with Carl. Or maybe one of those, appeals in Comic Relief. It doesn't all go to the people abroad, you know. There's some people in this country that need our help.
Christmas.
I think there's often...
Carl with his Victoria Plum. I want to see a Victoria Plum. I want to know what it is. Does it look like a little gnome?
It's a woman gnome.
A female gnome?
Yeah.
A little gnome.
Yeah.
Did your mum collect gnomes?
She likes anything gnomes, she likes fairies, she likes, Indians. She collects all that stuff. Yeah, and it doesn't matter what it is.
What do you mean?
You know, like a proper Indian with all the headgear on.
Or a Native American.
American,
Yeah, she likes anything with them on, like, you know, it can be a fridge magnet, it can be, just anything.
A lot of Native American wisdom is around the fridge magnet, because they think it has special powers of adhesion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, you read some of their writings, the great works. It reminds me, talking of gnomes, he said to me in the week, he went, "Oh, did you see that programme on telly last night about dwarves and fellas without legs nicking cars?" And I went, "No." He went, "Oh, it's amazing, right? Because they haven't got legs and that. They scoot along and they can nip into a car like the Dukes of Hazzard."
Explain more, Carl.
No, you see, I didn't see it, someone else told me about it.
Oh!
That's what I said to you. I said, did you see it? Because I missed it. And it's about these little fellas, who, specialise in car nicking. And the thing I wanted to know is, because this lad who sort of only watched half of it.
Is he like you?
Well, I said, I can understand how it's easy to get in, but then how do you get away? Because you can't reach the pedals.
Yeah.
Can there be two of them?
But presumably he opens the car for someone else.
Is it?
What do you mean?
What, so he's steering and he's like, right, press the brake a bit.
And then there's one that's just legs, but without the top half.
I don't understand how this helps them, though. Why does this make it easier for them to steal
Because they
cars?
can just get through the window really quickly, like in the Dukes of Hazzard.
Why?
Because their legs don't get in the way.
Right.
Do they just run? And just...
But what do you mean, the window? I mean, what? So someone's driving along...
No, I didn't see it.
And
This is
leaves
why
the
I'm
window
asking
open?
you. I didn't see
Do
it.
they leap in when there's someone still driving the car?
I don't know.
Well, there's too many things left unanswered here. I can't go
maybe
home
someone's
at
seen
Christmas
it and they
and
can
not know.
email in. But that's sort of...
This panicked you anyway, I imagine.
I bet you were gutted you missed that programme, weren't you?
Well, I'm interested in stuff like that. Because I like learning, which gets us on to educating Ricky.
Oh, excellent. Slick.
We've had a good year of stuff. Featuring stuff.
Yeah, I've learned a lot.
Can you remember any of the
Of course I can. There was a deaf girl and she hit her head and she could hear.
Yeah.
There was also some people who ate tomatoes thought they were poisonous on lead. There was also a doctor who gave a blood transfusion with some parrots from the pet store.
Yeah.
Because the doctor in America, and it was the olden days when the lines were bad, said give him his parents' blood, and the doctor this side thought said give him some parrot's blood. So that was true, and that educated me.
That was fact. What have you got for us?
Well, we've only got two, because I've taught you about jellyfish today, that we need them, so we've only got two things to go at, and I give them a little headline so you remember them, to make them snappy. The two headlines you've got, oh, what a catastrophe.
Okay.
And the second one is, well, you'd think it'd be Bughead, wouldn't you?
What?
Well, you'd think it'd be Bughead, wouldn't you?
You'd think it beat
No, you'd think it'd be.
Yeah.
You'd think it'd be Buggered, wouldn't you?
Bughead.
Bughead.
This can't be. If this is anything with a bug living without a head, I'm not interested. Because we've done it. All you've done is
well,
fun.
let's just do what a cat out.
So it is that. Well, do that
give
one
us the
first.
Bughead one.
Which
Do-
one? Which one are we
No,
doing?
do the Bughead one.
Right, well, the Bughead one. Well, we've talked a lot about animals and that, haven't we, without heads.
Surprisingly, we have. I think a disproportionate amount on it.
If you're a new listener and this is the first time you listened, you'd be surprised.
Yeah, we've done all that. We've covered worms, the way if you cut their head off it grows back if you don't cut too high above its neck. We've covered
The chicken.
the fella who blinked.
Yeah. I can't go into it again.
Right.
Let's not go into it again.
We've had the chicken with no head that lived for
Yeah.
8 months.
Yeah.
And we've had
And we've had the
cockroaches.
cockroaches living for a week without an head.
Right, okay.
Well, it's a bit more on the cockroach front, really.
Right.
They found, right, that if you get a cockroach
Yeah.
and you cut its head off,
Yeah.
right,
Yep.
and then you find a cockroach that's still got its head, but it hasn't got any legs,
Right.
right, it's not over for both of them, right? Because
Good
what you
news.
can do, you get the one that's got the legs
Right.
with no head,
Yeah.
sort of running around, get the one with the head,
Uh-huh.
sit it on top of it,
Right.
get a little tube
Okay.
so that the fluids.
So is this Aunt is go out of the
Let him
room?
finish.
This is like Blue Peter.
Let him
You could get this for Christmas.
Right, you get
Yeah.
a little tube, you sit that on top so the bodily fluids are still running between the two.
Right.
The head of the one on the top will control the feet of the one on the bottom.
Okay.
What about
Good.
And, will it continue to live?
that? Yeah.
Okay, you don't know that for sure, do you? Just
No,
guessing.
that was just a
No,
question out of the
that's-
blue he wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think of that?
Good, yeah, it's great. Yeah, just a primitive nervous system that can, yeah. Yeah.
Did you expect us to be more impressed and excited by that?
Well,
Did you fall off your chair when you read that? Did you literally topple off? Going,
Did you
"Whoa, like a
did you
cartoon?"
think you were going to be the Frankenstein of the insect world?
Yeah.
No, I just was thinking if they can do that, you know,
With them, can they do it with
them, can
humans?
humans? Because I also did a bit of research
course
on.
you did.
Did you come to the sort of conclusion that apart from the moral aspect of it, that the human was probably more complicated than?
Yeah, but do you know what I mean? Things move on, don't they? Do you know what I
Modern
mean?
science, Rick.
You know, I had Binatone as a kid. Now they've got PlayStation 2, and the difference in 10 years
They
is
have
amazing.
found that if you lose your head, a cockroach can live normally on your body, but not the other way round. Your head on it cannot control its legs because it's
Yeah.
too complicated
It's
for
too
your
confusing.
brain. So, yeah.
Well, then other research, because I thought if you don't learn from that, I'll give you something else for free, right?
Go on. Free.
That they can clone people.
Uh-huh.
The only reason they don't do it, right? Say if like Ricky needed a lung, right? They could clone you and make you the same. But the only reason they don't want to do it is because it'd be a bit horrible, wouldn't it? So
And it would take sort of 18 years for me to get an adult lung.
And there's all kinds of moral implications.
yeah.
What do you mean, yeah? You hadn't thought of that?
Sorry, because lest we forget, Rick, he ended with the only reason they don't do it is because it's a bit horrible and that. Which scientist said that?
Right, let's leave
That's a
that then.
quote.
Right.
Sing the song on.
That's not it. That's not the other one.
That's it.
No, that was just, you know,
We've got another one to come.
Oh, I
Teach
can't
us
wait.
the headline again. What was the headline
the
again?
headline, oh, what a catastrophe.
Looking forward to it.
Mark.
Yeah, a bit more counsel. This is from his covers album. This is called Snowbird.
He's so happy.
Do that.
Have you got it? Have you got something that will that's something that I won't know that's correct and that will interest me?
Yeah, there's loads of stuff.
Is it anything to do with monkeys?
No, we've got monkey news.
We've got monkey news coming out, of course we have.
We've got that
Yeah,
later.
monkey news people, and they're now over to XFM for monkey news with Karl Pilkington.
No, we won't do
Alright?
that yet. We're not doing
No.
that yet. Educating Ricky is...
Yeah. Well, let's do it.
we
Let's
did it ages ago.
Educating Ricky. Oh, that's interesting, and it's correct.
Hang on a minute, though. What I do is, I tease you, don't I, with headlines.
Oh, go on then.
And then you have
Yeah.
to sort of go, that one sounds good.
Go on then, what
I
are
want
the
to know
headlines?
more about that, educate me.
Yeah,
Right?
okay.
You've got, well,
Jeez. Oh.
that Nelly died.
That Nelly died. All right. interesting.
Okay, could be about an elephant. Go on.
You've got that, you've got,
I got well. Take well for as read. So they all start with well. Okay.
Knob body has been that lucky before. Brilliant, alright.
Okay.
Or you've got get a lobe of this court case.
Right. Okay.
Not bad.
I'm going for
Interesting.
knob body. Has been that lucky before.
Right, it's a story about this kid who was born, right?
Was he?
Yeah, he was popped out, like, and the dad and the mum saw the baby, and it was like, oh, that's a good-looking little kid.
Sure.
And they were proud and that. And then,
I don't know, they're surprised that it's a good-looking little kid. It's theirs.
yeah.
Like it could have been it could have been a frog, and they'd have gone, "Oh, he's got your eyes."
and then, the doctor goes, yeah, it is, but, look at that.
What?
He said, it's a boy, and, hasn't got a knob.
I love the doctor saying that. I love this GP.
Right.
Oh, this midwife saying that. Oh, I love little boy. Yeah, but no knob, baby. Mr. and Mrs. I mean, think.
Right. No, but I'm speeding it up a bit.
All right, come on. So the baby's
Right, so
born.
the baby's like
and
that,
Dr.
and
says,
the
"Look,
doctor
dude,
says
put
that,
them
and the woman's like, oh, it's our first as well, and stuff, right? She's really gutted.
What's the second going to be like?
So,
Go ahead.
Just a knob.
doctor says, yeah,
We'll call it Carl. Right, go on.
Right, go on.
so the doctor says, well, I'll leave it with you for a bit, get used to the idea, right?
As opposed to throwing it away.
So he wanders off.
Yeah.
He comes back with a smile on his face, right?
Found the knob.
So the mum and dad are like, what are you smiling about? He says, you're not going to believe this. Baby's just been born. It's got 2. Right? You can have one of them. And they did a little operation.
Where did you get this information from?
That's in a book.
What book?
Is it the
a
same as the
ghost
book that you carry round with you?
No.
With the woman with 3 legs, the juggler with 9 arms, and the bloke who found shagging a chicken under a rock? Is it in that book?
Weird though, isn't it?
Well, it's not true.
It is true.
What, in the same hospital, there was a baby born without a knob. Luckily, it's Carl.
It happened.
You're not. You swear to God, you're not making.
The
I'm not
doctor
making
came
up,
back
honest to God.
smiling, because you won't believe it. There's a baby there with an excess of a knob.
It happened, honestly. I'm not, all these things are not made up, the educating stuff. That's why I do it, innit? Teaching you stuff. Always teaching you stuff.
All right. If anyone can confirm the baby with no knob,
they're
the
going to
baby with
confirm it,
2.
because they're going to go to the same dubious website that Carl got it from.
I always try to be level-headed and reasonable in these situations.
And it's
You
always
ignore it.
Guatemala or Mexico. Rodriguez was born without a knob. Luckily, baby next door and was got 2 knobs. What a load of shite. Play a
Thank you.
record.
There's still more to come.
Oh.
I'm looking forward to. Was it Nelly?
Nearly dead.
It nearly died.
Nelly died.
Bones. Radiohead off the Benz album. I mean, might be my favourite album of all time.
You said it before, yeah. I
Yeah.
can't say I've ever really got into it. I remember when it came out, it was just so ubiquitous everywhere. I never really bothered listening
I
to
can
it.
still listen to it every day. I mean, that might be.
Aren't familiar with this.
It's when Carl looks on the internet and finds a weird story about, the double knob, fun, and tells me about it, and it's usually not true.
Okay.
If it is true, I know it already. Go on then, Carl.
They're not really weird stuff, it's just stuff that's gone on. That's interested me, that's all it's
Yeah,
about, and I
go on.
educate about it.
I should just confirm that we've had a number of emails that say the baby born without a knob and then having one transplanted from a baby that luckily enough had 2 knobs
Yeah.
is apparently true.
Yeah, no, listen,
India.
listen.
So-
I don't question that you could be born with a deformity and get someone's, fingers, knobs, What I'm saying is, it didn't happen with a doctor goes, I'll leave with it. I don't believe it. That baby's got 2 knobs.
Exactly.
What a coincidence. I bet that little bit of information isn't in there, is it?
Sure.
That he went out the door, I'm gonna get a coffee, came back, bloody hell, hold on, look, there's an extra knob, I found an extra knob. We put that knob on there. Perfect.
Right, well you've opted for the headline, it nearly died. Right?
Yeah.
It's about this elephant.
Yeah.
80 years old.
Yeah.
In Africa. right? It's had quite a good life and that. But then what happens is, I don't know what it's been eating, but its teeth fall out.
Yeah, that's what most elephants die of that because they grind them down, the teeth, until they can't chew anymore, and most elephants dying of old age with an elephant is the fact that you haven't got teeth anymore.
Well, it's had a good innings, it was 80.
Yeah.
Right? So anyway...
They used to pop the food up and feed it to it, and it lived quite happily?
No, what they did was, the village got together, said,
chewed the food for
that's
it.
sad, innit? Made it some
False
teeth. Made it some teeth. Out of wood. Wooden teeth for this elephant, that's 80. What do you think of that?
I don't know. I don't know if it's true, I mean...
No, it is, forget that, you've been proved wrong once. It is true. What do you think about that?
Carl, it's like saying, yeah, my Auntie Nora saw a ghost, what do you think about that? There's no comment. I can't comment on it.
Would you have gone to the trouble, is what I'm saying?
To build an elephant some
It's
teeth?
80, it's 80.
Yeah.
With all the problems Africa's got and that, and they're messing about making teeth for an elephant.
What problems have Africa got?
Well, there's not enough food to go around, so if an elephant's dead, that's a bit more food left. Do you know what I mean? Why?
Yeah, but you're assuming this is in the middle of a village where there was famine and starvation. It might have been South Africa, Kenya. You don't know. It's not all Ethiopia.
If it was a busy city, people in the village wouldn't have time to be messing about with making teeth and that, would they? It was a little village. Little village.
Yeah.
And a local elephant.
The local elephant, like a local post office. I'll meet you by the elephant.
No, to be fair, Rick, I think I saw Bob Geldof on TV saying, please, people, stop making elephants' teeth. They are eating all the food, we're sending it over there.
F the number, where's the teeth? I don't know, it's possible.
Send us the
I mean,
teeth.
it's possible. It's possible they've made this elephant some dentures. It is possible.
Wouldn't it have been easier to just...
Pulp it.
Exactly.
I'd have
Fresh
thought-
it up, serve it some soup or whatever.
Yeah, I think if you're making its teeth, you know, it's really, so I'd have thought it's a, you know, I wouldn't have thought it would work for very long, and I wouldn't have thought the elephant, would understand that it was teeth, so, I wouldn't have been able to thought that the villagers could do it. I mean, top veterinary surgeons could have done something, but I think they made it all goodwill, but I don't want to thought it worked, so they probably ended up dying or pulping it like I suggested. But, you know, thanks very much, play a record.
No, but didn't you say something about wooden teeth? Someone you know had wooden teeth.
I don't know, I think that was possibly my grandparents.
They had wooden teeth.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it was wooden. I think the palate was wood, and then the teeth were as you would normally
That's like from the 16th century though, isn't
Well,
it?
it was the 1940s.
They used to hammer them in without anaesthetic.
Really?
Yeah. Just that put into the roots so it wouldn't, oh god.
That's a rubbish time, isn't it, to live? That's all.
And other people's teeth, obviously dead people's teeth, you could replace it, just bang it in for a while.
Oh.
Oh, God, unbelievable. Oh, dear. Play a record, Carl.
If you've had your teeth, if you've had teeth hammered into your gums,
Placebo, English Summer Rain on XFM 104.9. Right, okay, you got the final educating Ricky, Carl?
Get a load of this court case.
Yeah.
What happened was, right,
Allegedly.
fella's in court for something that he shouldn't have done, right?
Yeah. You got all the detail then at your fingertips?
And the jury says, he's guilty, right? And the judge went, what, he's not guilty, off you go then, right? He misheard it. They couldn't do anything about it, because once the judge has sort of said, you're not guilty, off you go, you can go home. And the jury were like, what are you doing? They said he's guilty. And I was like,
What do you think of the Thorns album?
I'm quite a big fan, Rick. Yeah, I like that sort of alt country sound. I think
I
it's,
know. I like that compilation you made me, that was
that sort of thing.
really good. The Jayhawks, thanks for that, by the
No
way.
There
problem.
was the hanging one, wasn't there? There was the hanging one that happened.
Are you still there?
What bands have you been checking out recently? Any new things?
Just exploring all kinds of stuff. Obviously, you know, I like to come back into the old stuff. I'll tell you I've been appreciating a lot recently, Rick. Billy Bragg.
Oh, brilliant, yeah.
Great guy. Great guy.
Isn't he playing
He's playing
soon?
in March, yeah, you might want to try and
You heard
check
about
out
the hanging one when
What's this
when the
stuff?
fella was
Sorry, mate, go on.
when the fella was hung.
Well
hung. He was hung and
Ong.
he
So it was Ong.
he was hung by a rope.
So, isn't that, no, I think it wasn't he, a Chinese emperor? And the Ming wasn't he Ung?
Yeah.
Sorry, he was Ung.
Some fella who'd done something, they ung him.
It's not a word anymore. He was Ung.
Well, don't be doing that again, because you said squoze wasn't a word, and then I showed you a menu today that someone sent, and it said fresh orange.
Yeah.
Squoze.
In inverted commas, and next to it was the word colour spelt C-O-L-O-R. So, presumably either the American menu, right, in which case there's loads of American words that we don't use, or it's just a badly typed piece of work.
Anyway, there was a bloke that was
He was ung and that, but he didn't die.
Ung on that, he was definitely a Chinese. Ung on that, yeah. I remember him now, yeah.
He didn't die, and they said, oh, just hang on a minute whilst we change the rope and that, and he stood there waiting, changed the rope. They, tried to, you know, do it again, and, didn't work.
It didn't work, right.
So, they got another rope, right? Didn't work. And then they had to let him go, because it's like there's a well-known saying or something from this thing.
Yeah. Have you seen, do you like, Oh My Car's On by, Tim Burton's new single?
I don't know that I'm
Oh, it's brilliant. Can we play a bit later?
No.
Yeah, can we play it? Let's play a record now, and, we'll, talk more of it later.
Yeah. Can you, Carl, would you shut up?
If you get, I mean, I think I read that, like, a big chunk of ice, fell off one of the ice, what do you call them?
Caps.
Ice caps. Something like that, I think they said it's the size of the Empire State Building or something.
Right.
It snapped off and went into the water, and it's melted. And they said, oh, it's bad news, you know, that something that size is melting. But the way I look at it, if something that size falls into the water, it's like a big ice cube, and it's gonna freeze it up again. You with me?
Not really, Carl.
Go on.
Right, you get a giant ice cube,
Yeah.
the size of the Empire State Building,
Yeah.
stick it in the water,
Yeah.
it's gonna make, it's gonna stick back on again, isn't it?
Well,
Maybe it's
no,
gonna stick back
only
on
if it
again.
freezes up again.
Yeah,
do
well,
you
it
mean
will
it's gonna
freeze up, the
Well, it
water's gonna
won't,
get
but-
cold again, because you've just put a giant ice cube in the water.
So when you put an ice cube in a drink, the drink doesn't freeze, does it?
No,
the
because
ice
it's not like-
melts.
if you put one the size of an Empire State Building in your glass of Jack Daniels, it's gonna make it freezing.
It's not going in a glass of Jack Daniels, it's going in the ocean.
I know, but you see, I'm using my fables, imagine a world.
Use your brain instead!
This is a bit of a bigger issue. We're always making more and more stuff, right, in the world. You know, big buildings, big planes, big boats and that. Will we ever get to a point where all this is too heavy for the world to handle?
Right, what error has he made there, Steve? What physical, scientific error has he made there with that question?
I can't begin to explain it.
Carl, we're not getting the rocks from other planets. It's already here. It's like having a big pile of books in a room and then moving them over to the other side of the room and build a thing going, oh, can the room take it? I'm building a lot of things out of these books.
What about plastic? Where's that come from?
Other chemicals that existed on the planet.
Yeah.
Do you see the point?
Hang on a minute, though. What about a little tree? You plant that as an acorn, it grows, Rick. That's bigger, that's more stuff.
Yeah.
Don't listen to him, Carl. He's patronising
What
you.
about acorns and that, though?
Right, they grow from minerals and proteins already in our atmosphere or in our, the mass of Earth.
What about a cat, Carl? Right, you get it, it's a very tiny kitten, but it grows up and it's bigger.
Carl, he's doing it on purpose.
Elephants. Baby
Elephants, they're very small to begin with, but they get bigger and bigger and bigger, and so they get heavier and heavier.
Mind you, dinosaurs have gone.
You know, but you... but you know,
These are milestones in human evolution. The opposable, the forward-facing eyes, the upright. These are massive things in taking us out of the animal kingdom.
and one day, Carl, you'll walk upright.
But what do you mean about eyes facing forward? You mean before we got here, there was people whose eyes were looking in their head? I don't understand. Is that what you mean?
No, because when we got sort of binocular vision.
Do you know Anne Frank?
That's all I know about Anne is. There's no point pretending here
Anne!
that I know stuff.
Yeah.
Right,
Well, tell us everything you know about Anne Frank.
she was in a cupboard.
Yeah, what else?
If she didn't do that, I wouldn't know about her, seriously. That's all I know about her.
Yeah.
So what did she do?
But how do you think we know about We know about her cupboard because of her book, don't we?
But hang on, what, in the bigger scheme of things, why was she in a cupboard?
I don't know.
Right.
I honestly don't know.
You don't know anything else about Anne Frank beyond the fact that, to quote you, she was in a cupboard.
Well, what's she done then? You tell me, why should I know more about her?
Firstly, I don't think she was in a cupboard.
She wasn't in a cupboard. She was in an attic.
Alright.
Yeah.
So what was she doing?
She was hiding from the
Tidying
Nazis. She was hiding from the Nazis.
But isn't that the first place they'd look? Sort of work from the top down.
Oh, they weren't specifically looking for Anne Frank.
They weren't going, where is she?
Where's Franker?
If she gets that book out, we are in the deep shit. We've got to stop the book.
And then we went and had a look at the volcanoes and that. They've got 36 of them to look at.
How many did you look at before you realised that you know, pretty much, you've seen one volcano, you've seen them all?
Probably about 6 or 7.
Really? And then when you got to the 8th, you thought, no, I know what this is going to be, Suzanne. This is going to be like a mountain with a hole in the top.
Yeah.
Really?
But it happened years ago as well. It's like, just keep a couple, fill the rest in, tidy it up.
Fill the rest in!
Yeah, no,
Well,
yeah.
getting some builders.
No, seriously though.
Okay, 4 million tons of concrete, please.
They're an absolute death trap.
Yeah, what? Yeah. What do you mean, fill them in? Do you know what a volcano is?
Just a hole, isn't it? That's happened.
Well, it's
It
more than the
happened back
hole. It's
in-
more a portal to the magma in the centre of the Earth.
Back in 1730 it happened, and they still haven't sorted it out.
Well, when you say it happened, volcanoes were made a lot longer ago than 1730.
No, but the one that did Lanzarote in.
Right.
Sort it out.
What would you suggest? How
tidy
can they
up.
fill it in? It's joined. It's all joined.
No, but what I'm
And
saying is, it was
the
a-
big
it was-
plates of the Earth are all joined.
It
All
was
the
a disaster,
magma's
wasn't it?
joined.
With the trade centre thing, that happened. They cleaned it up, sorted it out, they've moved on. That's what I'm saying. Whereas Lanzarote have just gone, leave it. It happened back in 1730.
You misunderstand me. How, in the name of God, can you fill in a volcano? You ignorant twit.
No, but it's not just the holes, they've actually left the lava everywhere. That's what I mean. It's not just the big holes, there's lava everywhere.
But it's molten rock. They can't just pick it up like they're like a carpet.
Put it in the holes are there ready, just push it all in. That's what I'm saying. You know, like the monkeys peeling potatoes.
Right. That's never happened. They go and put nuts in the salt water to salt the nut.
Whatever.
How does that get to peeling potatoes?
But
Because in your head, they were working in a canteen.
Making chips.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
It doesn't matter what the food is, I'm just saying how they know how to sort of prepare
I
that
love
food.
the fact that you don't care what the fact is. When you're discussing facts, that's all that matters. Otherwise, on Mastermind, they just go, who wrote Much Ado About Nothing? Dickens? Yeah, close enough, whatever, someone did. The fact is what matters.
Yeah, but with that question, that's got a straightforward answer. What I'm telling you is the way that animals work. If it's a potato or a nut, it's a foodage.
And once again, I return you to my question as before. What's your point? What point were you making?
It's either a chimpanzee with a typewriter with an infinite amount of time. He would eventually, by definition, mathematically, type everything ever possible. Okay, or it's an infinite amount of chimps with typewriters, and one of them will type it first time.
But already that's sort of, that's not right. You either need to have
What do you
one
mean?
monkey.
What? You mean
Let's hear his
employment
point.
laws?
He
What do you mean
can't-
it's not right?
Let's hear him out.
Okay.
If it's one monkey
Yeah.
with a typewriter that's got loads of ink in it and that, right? At least it knows what it's done in the past.
Don't. It's not.
Keep going.
Crime. If you've got a load of monkeys, it's like if you have too many. What's that saying about too many chefs?
Too many
spoil-
chimps spoil the soup.
Right. Well, it's the same thing. It's like, well, I didn't tell you to put salt in it. I was going to put salt in it, and it messes it up. Whereas if it's just one, they know what's gone on. So what I'm saying is,
Honestly,
leave him go.
I can't be bothered.
I want
Steve.
to hear- I want to hear the rest.
This blows my mind. He doesn't know what this does to me. It's a mathematical
I
problem.
want to hear the rest.
well, it's just I just don't think it will happen.
What do you mean you don't think it'll happen? Infinity works it out for you by definition.
But not Shakespeare.
Oh! Shut up, you
know-
idiot!
Rick, do you know what he said to me? I said to him, I explained it to him, I said,
God.
you've got an infinite number of monkeys, infinite number of typewriters, they will type the complete works of Shakespeare. He said, have they read Shakespeare?
You're an idiot! Play a
I
record,
said, no,
'cause I'm not having this
they're not
conversation.
doing it
When are the exams? June?
Something like that, yeah.
We'll try and register next week, and I reckon you can get an A or B.
In history.
I'm
In
busy.
history. No, don't worry about it, it's just easy. You get your Brody's notes. If Heat magazine, they love you, Carl. They could probably sort something out. They could probably pay for a tutor. They got a lot of money, they sell a lot of magazines.
I mean, it is always, almost always, and you found that out, I discovered this, it's always the Tudors and Stuarts. There's no fear for that, them not coming up. Now, what do you already know about them? You must already know stuff about Henry VIII and Elizabeth.
No, because it's too long ago to even get interested in. Do you know what I mean? You can't.
Is that why you
relate
didn't-
to it.
Okay.
The Anderson thing, it was like, God, you know, I bet my mum and dad were in an Anderson shelter. You know, this is interesting.
What, when they...
Oh, my granddad would have, like, had something to do with this. But the Tudors, it's like, I don't know even if they had a family back then.
Play a record!
Is that it? Is that the answer?
Yeah, just cavemen in front of dinosaurs and that, they sort of went, oh. And then,
Well, it wasn't cavemen in front of dinosaurs, was it? Because cavemen weren't alive when dinosaurs were alive.
there was a couple knocking about.
Right, okay, fair enough.
There was a crossover point, surely.
Not dinosaurs like you're
15
thinking of.
million. Was the, yeah, probably the Ice Age, there were still big
I
reptiles.
think it's fairly common knowledge that the dinosaurs did not exist
Well, who
when...
gave the dinosaurs the name?
Well, no. Well, no.
Who gave the
No, I don't
dinosaurs the
know.
names?
He's,
Hang on. Here's something I've learned, remember?
Go
Going
on.
back to, like, show 4 or whatever.
Go on.
What is it?
What?
The flea can jump over the London Eye.
No! No, it can jump the equivalent of if it was a 6-foot man. It can jump about 6 inches high. A flea cannot jump over the London Eye.
yes, it can. Yeah, it can.
And
Tell your kids that.
God. Oh.
remember-
Oh, a flea can jump over the London Eye. And an ant can lift 3 Volvos.